We are all excited about this new opportunity to rejoice as we go up to the house of the Lord together. I, more than anyone, would love to welcome you back into this holy, sacred, and dedicated place. And we are there. We are excited about welcoming you. And so on this day, I come before you to share with you some of the changes that are taking place. And we, as a staff, as a reopening team, have worked very hard at presenting our reopening process to the diocese, which accepted that, and now it's up to us to make sure we inform the community as we move closer to that day when we will be welcoming you here to this place of sacrament. And so to help us become more aware of the new process and what church will look like, and to become more aware of what is expected of us as our responsibility when we walk through the doors, I'd like to share with you this message of faith and hope. First of all, whenever we walk into these doors, things will be different. It is not going to be the same as it has been. But for everything to be safe and prayerful, we are going to have to follow the norms that have been presented to us. And that means that everyone will have to use our Save a Seat reservation program. And that program will be easy to follow. And the church will be open to certain numbers of capacity that have been designated by the diocese. And so once the capacity is filled, no more tickets will be allowed at that time, at that date. We realize that that may cause a hardship with calendars, and we will do our best to get as many people together as often as we can. Also, when you arrive, realize that Save a Seat is also contact tracing. And contact tracing will let us know that information of who was here at the certain times in case something would happen, and we would be told that the virus was present at one of our celebrations, and we will have to contact not only you, but also the county. We realize that that may not be comfortable for some. And I understand that everyone has different opinions on these things, and we want to respect all those opinions. We realize that at this point we have to do those things that are expected of us. Also, there will be hand sanitizing that is necessary and required. Ushers will place you in the pews, maybe in places that you haven't. There will be social distancing. We are seated every other pew. We also are having different communion lines. When you come up to receive the Eucharist, this precious body of Christ, His real presence, you will be expected to sanitize your hands, come forward, receive the Eucharist, then move to the side, and it'll be at that time that you have to pull down your face mask. Face masks are expected throughout the entire celebration. So with these opportunities also come responsibilities. And so we ask you to prayerfully respect these guidelines that have been given to us. The celebration of the Eucharist is not a place to make a stand. We realize there's varying opinions on not only contact tracing, but hand sanitizing and the wearing of face masks. And we know that this is a sacrifice, but communion means that we are in union with each other, that we have a sense of charity towards one another. As followers of Jesus, we're called to love one another. And at this time, to love one another means that we will be following these rules and these procedures that have been given to us by our diocese, by the Catholic bishops of Illinois. We invite you then to be respectful of these processes and procedures. We look forward to the opportunity in which we will be celebrating the Eucharist here on weekends and during the weekdays. We invite you to the chapel for private prayer. We invite you to make a reservation to receive the sacrament of reconciliation. All of these are opportunities in which the love of God and the grace given to us in the sacraments are going to be celebrated here in this place that we have grown so accustomed to. I look forward to these days. I look forward to seeing this place filled, every other pew 6 feet apart, with the wonderful faces, with the incredible energy and the joy that this community brings when they celebrate God's goodness. Our process begins when you come into the parking lot, and it is at that time, as you find an open spot, we ask you to review the process that has been placed before us, whether looking at it on our website or checking it out in the brochure you received in the mail. As you arrive, you will don your face mask. And you'll make sure you have your Save a Seat ticket reservation. As you come to the entrance of the church, you'll notice that there will be cones lined up, socially distant, 6 feet apart. You may want to stay in your car until a cone is open for you to find your spot. Households and families can go to one single cone. As the cone in front of you is empty, then you'll enter the door, where then we will take your Save a Seat reservation. While you are waiting, you may encounter an usher who has a few questions to make sure that you are safe and healthy. He may ask, do you have a temperature? Have you been in a household where someone's been sick? If you have, it would be time then to leave the line and follow our liturgy electronically. We will also be using 2 entrances to the church. As you come in, you'll either be going to the tabernacle side or you'll be going to the choir side of our celebration. As you enter the doors, you'll be expected then to use your Save a Seat reservation to the person receiving that either slip of paper or on your electronic device. You may raise it through the glass, and then afterwards, any paper tickets can be placed in the refuge basket, and then you'll follow the arrows into the body of the church after you sanitize your hands. Once you have purified your hands and sanitized them, an usher will be in the aisle to welcome you. We will be seating people from the front to the back. We ask you to follow the marks in the aisle, which are 6 feet apart. The usher will ask you to go to the farthest cross marked on our pew for social distancing. The seating is staggered, and the usher has the obligation to begin from the front and to move to the back. Those who enter the door from the tabernacle side will be seated on the tabernacle side, and those who have entered the far door by the choir will be going to the choir side in the same process. An usher and a greeter will be there to help them find their seat. Once everyone has been seated in their pews, then we will begin our celebration of the Eucharist. Realize that if you do not have a reservation, you will not be allowed inside the church. The celebration will begin. There will be no singing during the celebration. Different Mass parts will be said. There will be instrumental music during the celebration at the time of offertory and at the time of celebrating the gift of the Eucharist and all of the assembly receiving communion. After the priest and the deacon have received communion at the altar, they will then go to their places, first purifying their hands and then putting on a face shield. The face shield that I have chosen is here to protect my corneal transplants, as well as being safe with the community. The reopening ushers will once again take their places to allow the different sections of the church to receive Eucharist. You'll be coming down the side aisle, 6 feet apart. After you are 6 feet apart, you will then, as you come to the front, there is a line. You will sanitize your hand, and then the minister of the Eucharist, the priest or the deacon, will use a hand gesture to bring you forward. If his hand gesture is a stop sign, then we invite you to stay at that line until the minister calls you forth. After you have received Eucharist in the hand, then you will move to a position 6 feet away, pull down your own face mask, consume the body of Christ, the real presence of the Lord, and then return by the aisles. The aisles in the main section will go to the center and make a single file line in the center. The side sections will go to the side aisles. This is the process that has been approved by our diocese. We will be exiting our celebration from back to forward. You'll also be exiting a different door than you came in. We ask you when you get to the narthex to follow the red arrows. Please keep social distancing. Those on the tabernacle side will be going out through the Joachim Center doors. Those on the choir side will be exiting the doors by the bell tower. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and to familiarize yourself with the process of entering and exiting the church and receiving this precious gift of the Eucharist. We are excited to open up the doors. We are excited to return to this house of worship rejoicing. We ask God's blessings on our reopening team, our reopening ushers and greeters and volunteers. We ask that we remind ourselves that at this time, the obligation for Sunday Mass has been lifted indefinitely. And so we ask you to be prayerful and respectful, using that gift of charity as you make the decisions to come back to the house of the Lord. May God bless you, bless your family, and may He keep us all safe and healthy.